Hi everyone, welcome to the InstructLab community meeting for August 20th. This is our weekly meeting, and first of all, I want to thank JJ and Dominic for hosting the meeting last week. The recording is already up on the YouTube channel, so please feel free to check out past meeting recordings if you are interested. Before we get started, the usual housekeeping rules. Our meetings are governed by the InstructLab Community Code of Conduct, which is linked here in the meeting minutes. And as mentioned, the meetings are recorded and posted to the InstructLab YouTube channel. So if you prefer not to be on camera, feel free to join off camera, with your camera off, or you can also dial in via phone. And you can ask questions by raising your hand using the raise hand feature in Google Meet. If you're on the phone, you can just ask the questions at appropriate times. Feel free to do so. If you prefer to chat rather than speak up, that's fine. There's a chat option in Google Meet as well. You can use that function. And we will publish the chat transcripts if there's any during the meeting to this document. And finally, we have a attendee list at the end of every meeting. Feel free to add your names there. It's optional, but it's good to know who are attending these meetings. All right, let's get started. We have a few items today, very exciting stuff. We start off with the latest InstructLab CLI 0.18 release. If you check the announce mailing list, you can see that the main 0.18 was released on Thursday, I believe, and then there's .1 and .2 releases in the past couple of days as well. So would somebody like to just give a brief summary of the release? Because I know for the main part, please attend the CLI meetings, which are on Thursdays, but Nathan or somebody, perhaps like a summary of what to expect.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's a pretty, so the difference between 0.17 and 0.18 is fairly larger than we usually see in the single Y stream release. So, I can't really do justice to all of the changes. I'd encourage you to go and look at the 0.18 change log. That really has an in-depth list. But from a very high level, what's changed is that we've added a lot more support for sort of like GPU like enabled systems. So you can kind of do more of full-scale kind of training, evaluation, and STG, more akin to sort of what's outlined in the paper. Obviously, this does require sort of beefier hardware, but we do still have the CPU cases supported. So there are some gaps we want to close there in terms of things like macOS support. We didn't get a lot of macOS stuff in there. We want to hopefully get that in the next couple of releases. We get a lot in terms of Linux support. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I guess probably the biggest change from our architectural standpoint is that the components have been split into different libraries. So you can actually see those libraries as well as part of the InstructLab organization. If you're interested in a particular aspect of sort of the lab methodology, the SDG, the training, the evaluation, there are independent libraries for that now with their own issues, pull requests, and maintainer teams. So definitely encourage you to check those libraries out if you haven't. If there's something there that's of particular interest to you. And the CLI moving forward will be sort of a consumer of those libraries. But the idea is that the libraries could also be used by components outside the CLI. But for the purposes of the InstructLab organization, the CLI remains sort of the primary entry point. Although I think there's also a UI-based team that's looking to create sort of a GUI application that could consume a lot of this as well. So yeah, that's my brief spiel. I don't know if anyone else from any of the maintainer teams wants to add anything.
Well, thanks for the overview, Nathan.
Yeah, of course.
That's really good. Yep. I updated to 0.18 over the weekend, but I haven't had a chance to try it out because I noticed there were 2 more updates. So I'm looking forward to checking things out this week. Cool. Yes, join Thursday's CLI meeting to get more details, and if you have any questions for the team, that would be a great place to also ask them and discuss. All right, next on the agenda, I added this just now because I think we have the pull request for naming the InstructLab mascot, and we have a few suggestions right now. I think let's talk about when we want to keep this open till we should set a deadline, and then we can announce it and share it more widely to try to get more comments and feedback, and also how do we go about voting it once we get a certain number of suggestions. So any comments, ideas about how to approach this? Is two more weeks good enough? End of August, is that too soon? Or maybe second week of September?
I'd say we go to September because people are still coming back from the August breaks, friends
Good
in EMEA.
point.
So
Okay. Maybe like mid of September.
that seems reasonable. Yeah.
Okay. And then we can discuss how to vote or how to decide once we get there. Cool. All right. So I'll create some posts and stuff to kind of raise more awareness. Actually, somebody asked about this during DevConf last week, so reminded me of this. So let's try to get more suggestions. Yes, Marty.
Yeah, so what are you going to do in September? Are you going to say whatever the list of names are in there? Then you're going to put a poll up and say we're going to vote. So September is a cutoff point. Maybe you might want to put that into the doc and say, look, September, a particular date on a particular time zone is a cutoff period for the names that you want to put in there, and those names can be put on the comment. And after that, then we'll have a vote to see which name comes out on top.
Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable, because right now not many people know that there's such a PR to even suggest names. So we're not talking about voting at this point. So let's say September 15th for the deadline for suggesting names, and then maybe
So
the next week or so, next 2 weeks for the voting part, something like that.
So do we need to put it out in the channel then and remind folks, look, this is out there, what name do you want? And I
Right.
suppose the last thing that I'd suggest is whatever names are suggested, they should only go in for voting where we won't have, if I go back to the iLab and that great thing months ago where we couldn't decide on a name, that we don't have a name that's already copyrighted or something. So like Paw Patrol or you'd have to get Paw Patrol, you'd have to be a parent of kids of a certain age. But you know what I'm saying here, that I suppose we can't pick a name that's already copyrighted or being used or whatever else.
I think I will check with I'll check with our legal team, but I think because we're not this is not the name for the project. It's not something that we necessarily publish, or I'll check with our legal team and brand team if we have to worry about copyright and trademarks and whatnot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
our other alternative is we just go with names like Nate or JJ or BJ.
I was going to suggest Martin, but that's me.
Well, I'm last in the family at home, Julia. So if I get a dog, we're not getting a dog because I don't want to be behind the dog.
Well, now we have Nathan and JJ. Oh, JJ, have your hand up, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, the spirit of it is a way so we don't have to like reference it as the dog, right? That was the whole reason that I put this whole thing in, because I realized as I was trying to think of things to do, when I looked at the little sticker, I was like, it doesn't have a name. And I mean, as you can see, my dog is sitting always behind me, so I talked to him. So it's one of those things. I really like Alan. Alan Turing. That's just me though.
All right. Cool. Thanks. Yes, please put in your suggestions. Nathan, Julia, JJ. And yeah, so let's do that and Rover, yeah. And I'll check on the possible legal implications if any. Yeah. Yes, JJ.
If we're going to move on to, before we go to the next one, can I talk about the changes for the taxonomy? I guess it didn't get into the agenda. It was during the
Oh, please.
18 release. Yeah. So do you mind if I take over the screen share? Because
Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, we've talked about this a couple times with through different channels, but there have been some, now that we have a larger quorum here, we wanted to make sure that we spend a couple times about the differences in the taxonomy now. Give me a second here. Oh, thank you, Nathan.
No problem. I did update my my MBTA PR with knowledge 3 that Julia provided me. If you need an example PR, you may already have one, but
Perfect. Yeah. So let's first of all celebrate everyone. Knowledge submissions, skill submissions are going to be starting up again here soon. There's been, as you've probably noticed, a slow pipeline. Well, we can officially say that will be fixed soon. Taxonomy is going to start getting stuff back in. We can start talking about the upstream Granite Lab model. Right now, if you didn't know, we are going to be targeting purely Granite going forward. We're going to be moving away from Merlinite as time progresses, and Granite's going to become the one in the spotlight. So, yay! Awesome. Now, if you haven't seen the taxonomy repo in a while, we've done some major updates to it. First thing first, the README is much more verbose now, which is important, especially if we want to do knowledge submissions, because the actual Q&A file has changed drastically. It really, truly has. This isn't going to be going forward. Or sorry, this is going to be going forward. We will iterate on this over time, but for the time being, these are going to be the requirements for it. I know that sounds weird, but I want to make sure that it's very clear that this is right now going forward. This is the only what we can accept. Skills have not changed for the most part, which is nice. So as long as you're doing a skill, your version 2 submissions, like we used to do with a freeform compositional skill here, that is still accurate, which is good to know. We have, I don't know if Michelle's in here, but we'll get to the actual taxonomy organization here in a second. I want to keep going through this. So now what was going to happen is we are now moving, here it is right here, the knowledge submission. See you in a second. The knowledge submission, we are going to be, we still have the same acceptance places that we accept from. We are in the past Wikipedia document. So please take a look at there if you want to add new submissions through that. What now we have is a version 3, Q&A.yaml. And it is important to recognize now that every single Q&A has a context associated with it, right? So as you see here, those are how many questions? 1, 2, 3, 3 questions per one context. So what does this mean? Remember back in high school when your teacher used to give you sections of a book to do reading comprehension from, right? And you'd have a bunch of questions, or at least I did, because maybe I was lucky. I don't know. Or maybe it was middle school. I don't know. I have a gray beard. I don't know anymore. I'm old. Anyway, they would ask you questions about a certain paragraph, context, or reading comprehension. That's what you have to do now. Question is why, right? Like that seems like a lot compared to just asking a bunch of questions or 5 questions and then calling it a day. Well, from what we've learned is the accuracy rate of the model becomes significantly higher because now it knows that these questions are associated with this context, right? Which is really important because what is the goal, right? Is to be able to get the questions and answers to be in the right place. Otherwise, it's going to go look for somewhere else, right? which allows that to work a little bit better. Now, it's still not perfect, but it's better than what was. And for our project to succeed, we need better accuracy. It's just true. But that also means there's more work on your shoulders now, because now you've got to figure out the context of the questions you want to ask. Also, you've got to make sure that the context fits inside the actual document that you have, right? So you can take it from the document and put it inside of there. Then you've got to write the 3 questions on top of that too, right? Also, you've got to be able to put the document outline inside of it also. That is very important. It used to be called task description, I think, or something along those lines. This
Yes.
is, thank you, Julia. This is very, very important. This actually goes into the prompt to give it the beginning conversation of what it's going to be doing. So you need to have a descriptive outline inside of it. Now, Julia, I can never remember. The context has a limit to it. What is the context limit?
So it's suggested to be 500 for context, 250 for the question and answer pairs. So total for each context and Q&A pairs to go with it, it's 750.
Now that's tokens, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
And as we all know, because we're all AI experts here, tokens really mean very fungible things, right? So you can't say it's words, you can't say it's that, it's tokens. So be wary of that. And the system will kick it back out. BJ and I and Julie are putting together some way to at least do something automatic on the back end with the linter to be able to do this, because you can pull tokens pretty easily through using some Python-y stuff. But right now that doesn't exist, but it will happen eventually, because we understand that putting in context for this. Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, the good thing about it is if you do test it from the CLI, it will spit it back at you if you go over. So that's good work that was done by BJ and stuff. Now it's going to be more centralized over time from a technical point of view, but at the moment we're working towards that in the Schema project.
Thank you. So what else? Oh, the attribution file is still extremely important. If you are going to be putting PRs in, make sure you've done that with attribution. Mo Duffy has written some really nice tooling that was released over the weekend that kind of automates a lot of this, which is really, really cool. So we'll be rolling those into the official toolbox, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, soon. So keep your eye out for that. Hopefully we'll get a link in that into the note, the agenda, so people can see that. What else am I missing, Julia?
I think you got most of it.
I missed it. Did you already talk about whether the previous parts of the taxonomy are going to be ported forward into this format?
Yes, great question, Olivia. Coming in hot there. First thing first, hopefully you've noticed over yesterday, that's a significantly less number of open PRs now, 29. So anyone with the amount of work that's required to do the porting of these from the previous PRs, we've closed them. It's unrealistic for us to expect unexpected for people to come along with and update the PRs with all the different changes to it. It's just easier to go from scratch unless you really, really want to. We have one person who has commented since I closed them all yesterday, saying that they want to. So we do have another person coming along, which is great. We do have some good examples. We have 3 of them. The Tete, the where to go? The Black Capped and Phoenix are going to be our 3 first ones that are going to be going through. They will be updated today with everything. They're kind of working in the background, but that's what's going to be happening, which is going to be nice.
On
top of that,
MBTA.
Oh, and the MTA. Thank you. MBTA. I will learn about Boston's transportation system before we're done by this. I know I am. I've never written it, never have, which is funny.
Yeah, and those will be updated like by the end of the week. It's not like a super big rush, JJ.
Okay. And then finally, Michelle has put together, and I'm completely lost it in here. Give me a second. Michelle we are updating the taxonomy tree. So after all the discussion and where we are right now, this is a perfect opportunity for us to reorganize how the taxonomy tree has been put together for the upstream taxonomy. What we have done, we are going to be going through the Dewey Decimal System, in leveraging the Dewey Decimal System for organization, because it is a trusted way of understanding where different things should go. Though I will say real-time information, grounded and ungrounded was a point of contention inside of that conversation for skills, which we have come to a conclusion on. But for knowledge specifically, understand that we are going down the Dewey Decimal System, and hopefully by today and or tomorrow, we will have that PR merged. Go ahead, Marty.
So as part of the validation, so there's validation and parsing done for the content itself. So now will some validation have to be put in place that somebody adheres by the system?
Right now,
And-
it's going to be human driven. When the PR comes in, people are going to be subjecting where they put it, and we are going to use humans to figure out where it goes. We have people on the team who have volunteered to understand where to bucketize, for lack of a better term, the information into the correct place. That they are experts in that space.
So once you work out the pattern, those two lovely human beings work out what the pattern's going to be going down the line, when they'll try and automate it, I'd assume, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you want to see the full PR that will be changed, it is 12:15 here. It is a journey. It is a journey of a PR, but this is a trusted way to do this. We went to experts who really truly understand this space, and if we want to bring in the community, we should be taking from the best of the community to understand how to organize information. Did you get that right, Julia?
Yes.
Cool. What questions can I answer? Hey, Nathan, do all your trains go to Hogwarts? Because I don't have trains here in Texas.
If only they did.
All right. Thank you, Carol.
Thanks, JJ. All right. We have one more item for discussion. Let me just get through this. So it's a PR to highlight. Oh wait, I want to highlight. Okay, let's see. Require maintainers to be triages. Does somebody want to talk through this? I'm seeing this for the first time, so.
Yeah, one second.
Thanks.
Yeah, so this is actually something that came up in one of the CLI community meetings. Basically the thought was like, we wanted to change how it is that PRs are getting triaged, and in the sort of governance roles that we have that's laid on the contributor roles file in the community repo, we talk about how each repo has like members, you have triagers, and you have maintainers. So the idea, so Ihar and I kind of had talked about this, you have in the PR, but we both kind of sort of come up with this together. But the idea was that you could have it where triagers are sort of a superset of maintainers. So you have a core maintainer team that has the approval permissions, and you have a larger group of triagers that can actually go in and look at PRs, kind of, you know, guide along contributors kind of to the point where they can be reviewed. Sorry, 1 sec, my Slack is going off here. So yeah, the idea here is basically that that like we could use something like Mergify, where you would have two sort of automatic, like two automatic reviewers picked from like the triaging group, and then they could actually look at PRs, and then you sort of have that triage, and then it moves up, and then the maintainers can actually go in and either approve things or request additional changes, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of laid out in the PR, but yeah, this would be like sort of a overall organizational policy change. So this is sort of like a proposal. So take a look at the PR, make comments on how you feel. BJ and Mark have already commented. Thank you guys for that. And yeah, this was just sort of an idea that we wanted to kind of formalize and propose to folks.
Cool. I know in taxonomy, the triage have a slightly different meaning. Does that affect how triages are, you know, in the taxonomy side of things? Or this
The
applies to
triage,
all?
Triagers are like I know the taxonomy group uses that term, but like there is a triage term that's laid out in the contributor roles. This is in accordance to that.
Okay. Like for example, right now the community repo, you know, project under the org does not have a triager role. It's just maintainer or member. Does this require all the different parts to have this triager role as well?
I mean, it's kind of laid out that that's
Okay,
like a
I
role
should
that
read
can
this.
exist
Okay.
already. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, please take a look in the PR, as I have not done so. I should do that myself and comment on it. Yes, Marty.
Yeah, just to add to that is, you know, usually in communities, the idea of a triager was that you get certain amount of responsibilities and that you're working towards a maintainer. But what it gives you is, because you've done good work in the community, you then get to that first role, triager, which gives you certain amount of capabilities, like you know, being able to assign PRs, being able to review PRs with issues and so forth. So giving you that first level of it without overall maintainer capability. So looking at that, it's always assumed that maintainers are triagers and that they should always be triaging PRs and so forth. So yeah.
Right. All right. Thanks. Yeah, like I said, I'll read through it myself and comment on it. So thanks for this. Any other comments on this PR? Okay. If not, any other topics for today's meeting? If not, thank you everyone for attending today's meeting. I will share the notes and recordings soon, and see y'all next week. And before that, remember to join Thursday's CLI meeting for updates on the new release. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Caroline.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.